Now you can save on Cox Internet, helping you stay seamlessly connected to everything that makes you, you. It all starts with adding Cox Mobile. You'll get fiber-powered internet at home and unbeatable 5G reliability on the go. For the people who want to do more, save on Cox Internet and get fiber-powered speeds at home for just $35 a month when you add Cox Mobile.
Did you drive home last night?
By the way, I'm paying for our pedicures.
By the way, maybe next time.
People with the Wells Fargo Active Cash credit card prefer to pay because they earn unlimited 2% cash back on purchases. Visit wellsfargo.com/activecash. Terms apply.
Meet Cheryl. Hey. She's on vacation and lost in the moment. Unfortunately, so is her Chase debit card.
It's gotta be something.
Maybe she lost it at salsa.
These skirts should have.
Or maybe she lost it at Pilates. But she's not worried. With the Chase mobile app, she can lock her card until it turns up. Tools that help protect. One bank that puts you in control. Visit chase.com/chicken. Chase, make more of what's yours.
Chase mobile app is available for select mobile devices. Message and data rates may apply. JP Morgan Chase Bank and a member FDIC.
There's a rhythm in the markets, in the resonant echoes of the opening bell, in the preludes leading to global elections, in the rising chorus conducted by AI. And if you want to learn to listen for it, we'll show you how.
With the $5 meal deal at McDonald's, you pick a McDouble or a McChicken, then get a small fry, a small drink, and a 4-piece McNuggets. That's a lot of McDonald's for not a lot of money.
Price and participation may vary for a limited time only.
Good morning, CTE. Good morning. Morning. This is always the hardest part, you know, because I know that people are socializing. We value this opportunity for you guys just to share our time with each other. First of all, I want to thank EVIT, Dr. Wilson, for hosting us. Jonathan, I want to give a shout out to you too. Thank you very much. So, yeah, there are people online streaming. We wanted to be able to, thanks to COVID, they brought the idea to us to be able to stream this one. This was more of a business operations type of meeting, and it's not just, you know, but I also said we're going to make this so enjoyable that those that are online streaming, they're going to want to be here in person too. So that's the idea. In that vein, I have on my door in the office at the ADE, I have a poster paper, and occasionally I'll put a phrase on there, what's your why, and then people will come back to, you know, they'll come and I'll encourage people to write on the door and what's their why. Or the other day we had how do you get to yes, and but about a month ago, I didn't know, it was National Joke Day, right, Charles? Where's Charles at? Joke Month, National Joke Month? Okay, so so I started receiving little Post-it notes on my door, and we decided to share those out at our meeting. It was a little intense meeting. We had some kind of housekeeping things to do, so I'm sharing those jokes with you. You know, why do sweaters stick together? Because they're close-knit, right? Yeah? Two guys walked into a bar. The third one ducked. Yeah. I didn't come up with these, okay? That's it. Accountability. Thank you, Kathy. Thank you. But the idea is that you've got one on there. Hopefully it makes you smile, maybe a laugh or a chuckle, but the idea is to pass it on today. Give that to somebody, help brighten their day, because that's what we did at the meeting. And if you know me, if you don't laugh at least once a day, it's a bad day. And if I don't laugh at myself once a day, it's a bad day. So I'm always trying to laugh at myself. And so that's what those jokes are for, to pass those on. So, but thanks to EVIT and hosting this, we really appreciate it. And those that are online, you'll have to get the jokes some other time because we're having so much fun here. It's for those that are here. So today's agenda, we're going to have the CTE team updates. This one is this format. I was talking to Scott earlier about the formats, and we always try to mix it up a little bit differently. If you remember last year, we had the breakout sessions and people rotated, and we had the EVIT was able to separate into the rooms and kind of break it up. Well, we're going back old school a little bit, this one, because we're just going to do some stand and deliver. There's some activity parts with this, too, just to get you up, because it's not ever good practice just to sit for 4 hours. So the one thing that you'll see on the sides of the room are some poster paper with parking lot types of situation. Feel free at any point in time, especially in between the presenters, to go and put a comment, a question. We need to be able to hear from you. One thing that we really try to do is make sure that ADE is a service-minded. We don't do anything that's not going to benefit you. This is all for you. And so if you have a suggestion, a question, please, at any time, get up. And again, like I said, before the speakers as well. And there's markers on your table. You can put it on a Post-it note, or you can directly write it onto the poster paper. But that's for you, and we hope to have those filled up with comments and questions as we go through. So CTE team, they're going to be giving their updates. And then we're going to take a break. That was the other suggestion that we had. I think it was last year. We rolled right through 3.5 hours, 4 hours without a break. So sometimes I get a little bit too much in my mind. So we're going to take a break. There'll be a break in there. Look forward to that, too. And then after the break, we're going to do our partners update. I didn't see Maya. Is Maya here? Oh, Maya's there. Okay. I saw everybody else. Okay, thank you. Appreciate it. So we'll have our partners updates after that. And then if you're looking at the agenda, not the menu, the agenda, you'll see the program awards. We're going to try something new as well. I'm really big on celebration, so we're going to talk about a model program. Sandy, within our office, came up with a good idea, and through the help of Sam, we're going to be able to, I think, share some, or at least support you in your sharing of some model practices, and we'll talk about that too. And then if you've been here for at least a year, Perkins is nothing new, dear to my heart. So, and how we managed last year, we're going to try something different this year too, and take back a plan to the state board in April. But Trevor Stokes is here. He's going to be facilitating the whole process and trying to work out a little bit of neutrality and be able to facilitate as we go. So, without further ado, Julie is going to speak to you about CTSOs. Yeah, thank you.
Well, I saw this really fitting on my table. It says, Kevin asks me, how is it that you're always sick on weekdays? And I said, it's my weekend immune system. So you will know that. Sorry. Good morning, guys. I said to Andy, I don't want my head on the top, like showing like how Kevin was. And he goes, don't worry, you won't have to worry about that. Meaning I was short. So thank you, Andy. Appreciate that. Just some updates as we go along. Where's the... Oh, hi, back there. All right. First and foremost, those of you that don't know me, my name is Julie Ellis. I am the CTSO's state director. I want to talk a couple, just some overview on things. Membership, okay? So membership was our first slide as we go along. Oh. Would you like to go back? Please. All right. Well, you'll get this PowerPoint and you can read, right? Okay, perfect. As far as the membership's concerned, again, it's all on the ADE website. For paying nationals, everybody pays national except for two, which is FBLA and FFA. They pay the state. All right, the next would be, keep next one, is the calendar of events. So we have a few TBDs, and usually they're in the spring because we're trying to get locations for our regionals and districts. They will be updated, and it will go up every time we update that. So if you see some TBDs, please feel free to look back at the ADE website. When they become available, we will upload that as well. We have some exciting news in our CTSO world. We are fortunate enough to have Jet Wilson. She will be joining us. She is our program project specialist for FCCLA and Family Consumer Science and Education and Training. We're doing things a little different at ADE. I know Kevin probably mentioned, but what we're trying to do is Cindy and I are trying to put our teams together a little bit more because we know we go hand in hand when it goes programs versus CTSOs. So we have a program project specialist we're hiring for each one of them so that they can collaborate more together as well. And then if there is teachers that need help in both areas, one of them can help, or our program project specialist can help too. So if Jet's not here today, but please give her a warm welcome when you do see her. She's going to be a huge asset to us because she does know a lot. She's been in ADE, and so we're super excited to have her as well. The biggest, most exciting news is the sole vendor for state leadership conferences. I know most of you have asked me, and like DECA takes in all the hotel registration, they take in the hotel, they take in the registration and all the other meals. So the good news is we know that we're moving to the Tucson Convention Center, and there is extremely like 10 to 12 hotels. So we've decided, and again, we're hoping the invoices must be paid in order for you guys to check into your hotels. So again, it really worked for DECA, and I was able to, people did bring the money, so we are going to try this for FBLA, FCCLA, and HOSA. So now you don't need W-9s and have them filling out from, their business office has something, then you need a W-9 on top of it. So we are now going to be the sole vendor for your state leadership conferences. Next is the annual chapter submission form. So this is a huge update, and I kind of wanted to talk a little bit about this. I went to a WestMec. By the way, any of you guys that have meetings, any of your CTEDs, the JTED, anybody that has meetings with directors involved, if you want me to come, I had a really good conversation for WestMec, so thank you for inviting me, WestMec, and we talked about, the struggles, because again, we need to make this easy for our teachers, right? We don't need them to quit on the spot. So, so I've come out there and they have given me some ideas, and now I'm going to implement this. And I get it. You guys are like, wait, we don't want one more thing. But I feel like if we keep waiting year after year, we're never going to get anything done. So the biggest, as I told them, heartburn that I had is I never could understand about this annual chapter submission form, because as a teacher, right, I have to turn in my first sets, which is 7A, which is that membership, bylaws, chapter officers. So great, I'm going to get that going. So there is a deadline for November 1st. So that 7A is important, but 7B, which is the conferences, the business and industry, the community service. How am I supposed to get that done by November 1st, right? So we're uploading stuff from last year. So nothing makes sense to me until somebody said, well, why don't we just make it later? So this is what we're going to do, is our fall deadline is for 7A, technically, all right, which is November 1st. People say, why November 1st? Because students should have the opportunity to be able to participate in a CTSO, not by March 1st, but November 1st, right? The spring deadline is a hard deadline for membership, okay? If they decide to upload their program of work on March 1st, that's fine. But it's going to be a hard deadline for membership, and that is not our call. That is the national organization's call. And please, please, please make sure your membership is in. And then we're gonna wait until all of those conferences are done and settled. And those of you that provide a stipend or are looking at the 7A, 7B as the 7B as a stipend, we are going to allow you to them to upload this May 15th. And guess what? You don't have to require more paperwork. You as the CTE director will get it yourself. So what you require, so like for instance, if there's templates to have them upload for business and industry, for conferences, they can upload that, and that can go towards their stipend that they might receive, and they might have to add more to it. If they add more to it, that's fine. It'll be more for you than it would be for us, but as long as they meet those 7B, 1, 2, 3, and 4 requirements, you should be good. So hopefully this makes it easier for you. If you have any questions, please, or any suggestions, again, what Kevin said, please take out your Post-it notes that are in the center, write them down. It could be positive, it could be an opportunity, I don't like to say negative, an opportunity for us to be better service-oriented, because that is what we're all about. So that is something that we have changed. So May 15th now, you will not have to worry. I will tell you March 1st, the 7A will go down. So even though it's one long form, do not worry about, you will not see that after March 1st. They will only see 7B. Please make sure you don't have your teachers, this is what's happening right now, and we're having to bounce back and say no to 7B because this is stuff that they've already uploaded. So what they've done is they've uploaded last year, and then they're uploading it again this year. So any of that, we'll resend the link out to them that submitted it, because we've just gotten in, I would say maybe 10 just in the last 3 days that have last year's information. So then for purposes, auditing purposes, we have the entire year set to go. Make sense? Hopefully that will help you. I'm gonna quickly, there's another thing, next slide. I wanna, I think he put this at the end. I'll talk in a minute. Just really quick, we have two advisor training, new advisor training, and advanced advisor training. They're both on there, the links. Please send your new advisors to the next one, which is in October, and then this advanced we're doing virtually. Any of those teachers that are having, like they struggle with the program of work or they struggle with their bylaws, please feel free to send them to this free training for them. It's 2 hours online, kind of just discussing what we need to do. Next is just a little recap. We had over 400 advisors for the advisor training, and we had 4 national trainers. It was an amazing opportunity. We literally had skills and FBLA one week, and then DECA, FCCLA, and HOSA the next week. So thank you to all of you, some of you that came, and thank you to those that actually participated. Kind of an aha moment is a lot of those being able to integrate their professional skills and their program standards into the competitions or into what we have offered for each CTSO, because each CTSO actually offers lesson plans. They offer all of that stuff for your advisors as well. So just a little recap on the Advisor Leadership Conference. Next is our monthly mailings. Again, if you're interested in being part of, each one of my CTSOs sends out either weekly or monthly. If you're interested in being on that, please click on the link. It is all of this too is on the ADE website for you guys. We have that updated for you guys, and then they can go to their each one of their specific CTSO websites as well. And next questions. Okay, so I think, Sam, is it next after this? Let's see. Yes, okay. So one other great thing, okay? I know it's really hard to get all the teachers together when they're teaching in this. We have developed, and I should say we, meaning Megan. So Megan Victory's not here today. She is my assistant, love her to death. She has helped design this annual submission walkthrough form. Okay, so I'm just gonna quickly go through this, guys. Please, please, please give this to your teachers, all right? It is going to be on the website after this meeting today, and it will be right on the ADE website. So let's go through this really quick. If you notice, there's frequently asked questions. What is this form, and who has to submit this every year? How long is this form? Keep going. Okay. Here's the fall deadlines. It tells them the fall deadline, spring, 7B submission deadline. It gets how to get to each of the forms, all right? So this is how to get to each of the forms as they go along. That's the ADE website. This is where, if you're doing marketing, you go to the DECA website. The FBLA, this is where you go. FCCLA, this is where you go. HOSA, this is where you go. Skills, and These are the elements of 7A submission. And every single one of them, as you just keep going down. Okay, so it tells you all of the form elements for 7B. And then it talks about it. So 7A, here it is, start with the form, and we've gone page by page by page. So 1 is the affiliation. Here's some important notes. Here's the program information. Here's the membership information. Here's the, oh wait, go back really quick. Here's the sample program of memberships that they should be getting. They should not fill out an Excel spreadsheet and upload it. It says this is what they should be looking for, is this invoice. And then so on. Bylaws. What are we looking for in those bylaws? Because here's the biggest thing to me, you guys. Bylaws, we're getting bylaws from 1990. Do you think it's a little too old? Nah, right? Or we're still getting things that says, we're still getting ones that say, state office has these bylaws. Okay, where? I don't know about you, I haven't been there in 1990. So please make sure, and I teach this in the new advisor training, how do we look at these bylaws? These bylaws should, at the end, any of you that sit on your HOA board or any board that you have, at the end of all the bylaws, it should be reviewed, what's the date, or revised, and who was the vote, and what's the date. We have to do it. We would like them to continue to do that. So those sample bylaws, and every year they keep uploading sample bylaws. And I'm like, wait, why do we keep filling them out? You know, those are set in stone. So we have that. We have chapter officers. We have a certified teacher. All they're doing is saying, yes, I am a CTE certified teacher. Their program of work or leadership, and here's the samples. So this is what we're looking for. We keep getting people that are just putting up, you know, different things. We've done a template for it. Next would be invoicing. Is there any invoicing? Does somebody need to be added to that? Next is the statement of insurance. That's basically, people ask me, what is that? That is basically saying, we at the Department of Education do not chaperone students. You need to chaperone your students. And when you do chaperone your students, you will bring forms in case there's an emergency. There's been so many times that we've had advisors say, do I have to come to this conference or can I just send the kids? That's a district decision, I said. No, I don't know. I'm putting it back on you guys. Anyhow, the statement of insurance, and then 7B. So you guys see, I don't need to go all through this, but I will make this available. We will send this to you. These are the quality indicators. And so if you haven't been privy to this information, and it's now available to you guys and your teachers, because I know it's been, I had Josh, hi Josh, in here, and had asked me the question, and I'm like, we're getting this form. So thank you to those that have provided feedback for the CTSOs, and for any other questions that you may have, you can email Megan, and you can also email me as well. But I just appreciate each and every one of you. You guys are so gracious to me and to my team, and if there's anything that we can do, please don't hesitate to reach out to us. Okay, thank you.
So Julie said a couple of things there that I think that were, I just kind of want to echo, is that she and I both were invited to the CTE administrators meeting, so they have that once a month. Jarrett pulls together all the local administrators, CTE administrators. Stephen started that. And it's a chance for us to be able to share what's going on at ADE with the local directors. But more important, as Julie just mentioned, it provides an opportunity for us to be able to take the suggestions, your suggestions, so what we can do better. So as she had said, please invite us to any of your meetings that you have so that we can hear directly from you. The other thing that she briefly mentioned in there, there was alluded to the professional skills. You will be seeing, hopefully, within probably the next, sometime in the year, the efforts at ADE and what we're calling a portrait of a CTE graduate. And it will center around the professional skills or employability skills, so soft skills, whatever you call them, and we're not going to call them anything different. We're still encouraging you to call those things as well. But it's a place for which we think it could provide a cornerstone. You hear it, we hear it from our business and industry that kids are lacking some certain skills. And so this is a way for us to be able to assure the industry that those students that are at least a CTE graduate will have these professional skills, employability skills, those things that you're talking about. And so we're doing a lot of work on those professional skills. And we're also dipping down K-5 and 6-8. And Susan Ferretta is doing a great job. But I just want to let you know that that's coming to be able to look for it. So this is a good one, Kathy. Yeah. How do you know when a joke is a dad joke? It becomes apparent. Yeah. I did better with that one, yeah. All right. Sam? Sam.
Hello. I'll be very, oh, I meant go to the next slide. Okay, so I'll be very brief. Just have a couple slides to go through. I wanted to provide an update on the secondary performance measures as a state. We passed all of them but one. We did not happen to meet our 4S1 non-traditional measure. So the state will be providing or compiling and providing to the feds a performance improvement plan just like you guys do if you don't meet your measures. Historically, ever since we began collecting or analyzing performance measures for Perkins 5, we have failed to meet the SDLP, the state determined level of performance for placement and for non-traditional, and we've been eking closer and closer to not meeting the 90% threshold, which is what requires the performance improvement plan, and this year we just didn't happen to make that 90% threshold. So we'll be investigating strategies that we can share out to the fields to hopefully improve that statewide. Just so you know, the state performance is just an aggregate of all local performance. There's nothing special or different about it. It's just how the districts perform. It gets aggregated up into one number, and that's the state's performance. Okay, next slide. Exciting, kind of exciting news. This fall, the department will begin to collect work-based learning data. We've never collected work-based learning data before, and I'm sure it's happening across the state, and we'd like to know what is happening. So our IT team has developed, or is currently in the process of developing, a module in the CTE data portal to collect work-based learning data at the student level. The data that we collect will be aligned one-to-one to the work-based learning guide that was updated last year. They did a great job updating it, and it mentions all of the types of work-based learning and provides descriptions of what you can do, all these different sorts of things, and the portal will reflect that updated guide. And then we will also ask that each work-based learning experience is tied to or aligned to technical skills if the skills are available for that. Or skill standards, sorry, if those standards are available for the program that the student is enrolled in. It is still in development with our IT team, and as soon as it is getting ready to be published in the CTE data portal, which will be in this school year, we'll provide more guidance documentation and of course provide training opportunities to it, for it. Okay, next slide. A couple, like last year, I think, I mentioned that we will be incorporating some new, what we're calling change requests. Nope, back one. Yeah, change requests in the CTE data portal. They were just deployed into the production site yesterday, so that's very exciting. It actually happened on time. And these will be available for you come October when the FY25 reporting window opens. The 3 new change requests that we incorporated will allow you to modify data after the fact, which is something that we've never been able to do before. We'll be able to insert credits into a participant concentrator record. We'll be able to create placement surveys from non-qualifying participant concentrator records. And we'll be able to move placement surveys from a prior year up into the current year, which is something we've allowed before but never had the mechanism to do. We have tested these requests thoroughly since they're unprecedented, and they are working very well, which I'm very surprised with. Yeah, they've gone through a lengthy development process, and they're working as intended. Now, each of these requests is going to be submitted and reviewed by either myself or my staff on a case-by-case basis, and we'll work with you to understand the nature of the request and get those approved. Now, the change requests are intended to handle unique cases or cases in which the system has a deficiency or a glitch or we just didn't code to it. It's not necessarily intended to fix past mistakes. Like, oh, I forgot to upload this record. Not really intended to handle that kind of situation, but perhaps a student comes to you from somewhere else that didn't report that credit. That's the kind of case that these change requests would be intended for. These, like I said earlier, they're published to the production site yesterday, and next week we'll be publishing some guidance documentation on these, including the rubric that we're going to use as when we review them, so that you'll know what we're looking for to approve them. Okay, next slide. Lastly, we have hired a new staff member for the data and accountability team. Stanley Hostetler is our new data and reporting analyst. So Stanley is a software developer by trade, and he is working on creating data analytics reports and tools that we can use internally and externally. Oh, neat. I don't have any more slides. Yeah. To help you in reviewing your programs and improving programs. So welcome to Stanley. And that's all I have, so thank you. Any questions? Yes. Sure. Yeah, so Nicole is asking, one of our new change requests is to allow you to move a placement survey from a prior year into the current year. This is something that we've allowed before. It's typically for when a student who graduates from high school goes on a religious mission. When they come back from their religious mission, you can do their placement then versus when they graduate from high school. Attending or participating in a religious mission does not count as a placement, all right? So when they come back from that, then they can be counted as employed or going to school or something. Couple things to note about that one. It still counts in the year that the student graduated, right? So if they don't qualify for placement, we don't know that they're going to come back. We don't know that you're going to request them to be moved forward into a new year, so it's still going to count in that prior year. When you move them up into the new year, it will count in the new year as well. So we recommend that you only do it if you know that they're going to have placement.
What is the time frame?
Sorry? So for moving a student, we can move from the last 2 years. So let's say a student graduated in 2024. That placement survey opens now in October. You can move students who graduated in 22 or 23 up into the 24 list. Yeah.
Will districts be required to enter the work-based learning data?
Yes, the work-based learning data will be required. We don't have any way of validating it, but we're going to ask that you report as all. There will be a user interface in the data portal that will ask you all the questions that we're collecting, and it's going to ask you to provide the student, basically just the student, the experience type, is it like an internship, apprenticeship, that kind of thing, a brief description, some compensation information, the supervisor of the work-based learning, the provider, and that's pretty much it. So work-based learning is a good measure of a program's quality, and work-based learning districts are doing it across the state, and the state has no idea of what's going on. So in order to know what's happening in the districts with this very important measure of program quality, we're collecting this brief information from districts. Yes? So our hope is to integrate data that we collect elsewhere in the data portal into the quality and compliance monitoring process so that you wouldn't have to duplicate the effort. Yeah. Any other questions? Over here. So it aligns to the guide, so whatever in the guide, the work-based learning guide, will be reflected in the portal. I don't remember off the top of my head all of the types that are in the guide. Oh. My memory's not that good. Yeah. Anything else? Okay, thank you.
Yeah. Thank you, Kathy. Which side of a turkey has more feathers? The outside, yeah. Okay. Just a couple of things what Sam had talked about. It seemed like work-based learning was kind of getting a little bit of traction, at least for a conversation in here. We believe that providing students the opportunity with an experience outside the classroom is extremely valuable. Anytime that we can break down the walls, get the students outside in the real world. I don't like that expression because they're already in the real world, but in the world of work, practicing what they've learned in the classroom and those skills that you've taught them and they've learned, we think that's a good idea. And it's actually taking CTE to the next level. We wouldn't, though, ask you to do anything if we weren't willing to provide you with support. So on August 29th, we have a new director that's starting at ADE, a director of work-based learning. So although that the tasks may sound monumental, you will be provided support in this endeavor. And we know, there's already a lot of good things happening out there. This is in no way, shape, or form to encourage you to change what you're doing. You've spent years establishing relationships with industry leaders, with businesses, local businesses, and you have a good system that already works. We're not asking you to do anything else. But this does provide us a snapshot or a glimpse to be able to see what is happening out there. Time and time again, we're provided with stories of things that are happening. I am the beneficiary of a lot of that, which is fantastic. But a lot of you aren't able to see what's happening across the state. And so this is just going to be another way to be able to help support you in what you're doing and then share those opportunities. So the new director of work-based learning is going to be starting on August 29th. We'll have more news on that. September 29th. Sorry, thank you, September 29th. Yeah, August 29th. See, that's how my world goes. Okay, so with that, Judy is next. Standards of assessment and accountability. Assessment. Please use the poster boards. I see one that's already been posted, so I appreciate that. Again, suggestions, ideas, recommendations, questions that you have, please, anytime during today, be able to go up and be able to put that sticky or write directly on that poster board. Okay, Judy.
Good morning. I'm Judy Balow, and I am the team lead for the technical standards, technical assessments, and another area called career development. I have a question for you. When does Friday come before Thursday? In the dictionaries. I heard somebody over there. I think it's when you don't want to deal with Thursday and you want to get to Friday right away. Okay. My team and I are currently very, very busy trying to identify the program standards that need to be updated. And I hope that by our meeting in November, I'll be able to give you a list of those program standards that will be updated for 2025, as well as some preliminary information about the technical hi. Okay, about the TSA Teacher Institutes. Okay, as you see on this slide, and there's also a sheet in your packet with the same information, and you saw it back in the summer, and if you've been on our website, you see it there as well. But the important thing here is for you to know that October registration for our technical skills assessments begins very, very soon. Actually, registration is open on October the 1st. There are 54 programs that will have customized TSAs for testing in the fall and again in the spring. They're customized because the content of those multiple choice questions are based on the standard content of every one of those programs. You see those highlighted programs there. There are 9 of those. They're highlighted there because their brand new recently updated standards will be tested on for the first time this fall, again in the spring. If you have any questions about registering students, administering tests, and so on and so forth, there is a particular person that you need to contact, and that is Hannah Higgs. And Hannah is in the audience somewhere back here. She's got all the answers. You know, I always say you can contact me anytime, but chances are I will say, let me get a hold of Hannah, and she'll get right back to you. She's very prompt in getting right back to your questions, whether they come on, as you see on the slide there, whether you send your question, call her, leave her a message on her professional email address there, or email the assessment, use the assessment email, or call either of those numbers. So be sure and check her out. She's a good lady. Okay. Also, on the back side of your sheet in the packet and on the slide there is a listing of resources. You've seen this listing before. This is on the ADE CTE website, the TSA webpage. And however, these resources have been recently updated. There were some things that occurred over the past year, and especially in the summer, that we needed to get into those resources so that you would have the latest information. So be sure and check those out. The QR code would get you there very quickly. You can, I can't even read that from here, but you'll see such things as the schedule, learning guides that will take you to how to register students, how to give the test, how to prepare your proctor for guiding the students through the test, and those kinds of things. You've seen that before, but that's on there. Be sure and make sure your teaching staff know that information is there and that will help them. If you haven't done so, you need to immediately prepare for fall testing. The first thing you need to do, if you haven't, is schedule the test for your students. The tests with an S on it for your students. Reserve the testing site, okay? Identify those students who should be testing this fall and get them registered. And then train the test proctors. It's very important for the proctors to be able to know what's going to go on when the students, what should go on when the students are taking the tests, and to be able to guide those students through that testing process. Okay, I just wanted you to, those are my team members. You've met me and you've met Hannah. There's Kathy Reed, who works on their standards and the assessment, especially the TSA Teacher Institutes, to bring teacher committees together to work on our assessment items. And then Susan Ferretta, and Susan's back here too, and Kathy's over here. And Susan in particular works on is responsible for the K through middle school career awareness, and then the embedded academics, and also ADE CTE approved PD for certification requirements. So be sure and check all these folks out if you have questions about any of those areas. So with that, I shall leave you.
Where do cucumbers go on date night? The salad bar? Tough crowd, tough crowd. You're going to be here all night. Is this on? So the one thing that I think it was mentioned before, all this material will be on the ADE website under CTE administrators, so you can see this whole PowerPoint presentation as well, because I know we're giving you a lot of information. Stanley, you're new. I wouldn't push it. Sure, we'll put the jokes on there too. And without further ado, Cindy Gutierrez.
I'm still short, no matter how much you try to build me up. Anyhow, short jokes. So yeah, Julie, I think I'm shorter than you. So anyhow, good morning. And our boss said we had to tell a joke. So I had to reach deep down into my agriculture roots to find the appropriate joke. That is, why do bees have sticky hairs? Because they use honeycombs. I got okay. So good morning. Good to see everybody here. Next slide, please. So my team, which is kind of half full at this time, we're doing clickers. Okay, there we go. We do have 2 vacancies on my team right now for the health science technologies, so I'm the go-to person for that. And then we're hiring for a new position, communication media technologies. At this time, Elena Sabampo is still overseeing those, but when we get a new person hired, we'll have an additional team member. So like Julie said, we want to be invited out to your districts to help your programs, your teachers. Right now, my whole team is taking requests for monitoring training, so they love to come out and help you and your teachers prepare for the next few years of monitoring, knowing that we'll be having some changes. So, new approved credentials. So we went through the process of getting new credentials submitted. They've gone to the CTE Quality Commission and been approved, and now they're sitting at the state board. So we do have 5 new credentials. One is Animal Decontamination Professional, Basic Life Support for the Healthcare Provider, Certified EKG Technician, Certified Medical Lab Assistant, and then Veterinary Certification. It's a fear-free certified professional. Once the state board approves those, we will update our list. So we're looking by the end of September to have a new list up there with these on it. And then we do have several community college certificates that will be added for specific community colleges, so aligned with CTEDs. So those are coming. Again, we'll send out an email when those have been approved by the state board, letting you know that they're now available. Jamie?
Which program will BLS be aligned to?
Well,
Which CTE program will BLS count towards?
I don't know off the top of my head. One of the healthcare ones, but I don't remember. So we will align that. It'll show up new on our list. So, but it is basic life support for healthcare providers, different than CPR, first aid type. So it's a higher level specifically for those healthcare providers. And Trevor, who is the chair of the Quality Commission, when we brought that before the Quality Commission, he said that that is a huge one across the country that's showing up that is a needed certification. So we're aligned with everybody else. We're doing our job. Okay, local occupational programs. These are programs that are based on your local need. So what your community has identified in your CLNA, that's justified by local data, that doesn't appear on our CTE programs approved list and is significantly different than anything on our approved program list. The application process for that will open up October 1st, so in just a few weeks. That's the reason I'm bringing it up now. It's the opportunity for you to submit new programs that you want to try out next school year. It has the whole application process. It follows the requirements of federal Perkins and state CTED statute requirements. But it's all developed by you, your local district, on what you're going to offer, what standards you're going to address. So again, it's very much your local program. If you have questions or concerns about putting the application together, you can reach out to me and I can help you through that process. So again, it opens October 1st. It will close November 30th. It's all an online process to submit that, and then it goes through an internal approval process just to ensure that you have all the required elements. Okay, so that kind of brings me to the next part, the CTE approved program list. So we are currently working on that. Actually, we I guess, discussed yesterday about the whole list and putting it together. It is a long process to go through and determine what the new program list will be, but we're hoping to, well, we will have it to you by November, because we know that you need to have that for the next school year. So it's a 2-year list. We revisit it every 2 years. So just know that's coming soon. And then monitoring updates. We are working on the next 5-year rotation, which will start in fiscal year 26. So it's basically the second round of our monitoring for Perkins 5. It's going to be in the same order, so we're starting back with the West Valley again. We've been doing updates on our monitoring document based on your stakeholder meetings from last spring, all the feedback, trying to clarify and get rid of a lot of redundancy. Again, pare it down just a little bit more for you. We are aligning it to our guide, so we're revisiting and revising our guide as well. And we're working on the rotation schedule. So a new rotation schedule, including all our new entities that we've added over the last 5 years, a lot of our charter school partners now. And then we'll be developing the guidelines for the fiscal year 26 group. Knowing that all of this is coming really fast, we'll have dates and all the documents ready to share in November, and then we will have the required monitoring training at the Midwinter Conference up in Prescott in February, I think is the dates. So, and then again, we'll be providing all that documentation and new training for the next 5-year rotation. So at that February mandatory training for fiscal year 26, we welcome anybody. So if you're in fiscal year 27, you're welcome to come and get a head start. And we really encourage everybody that's in the year after to start early, gathering your data and looking at some of the changes that we've made. Okay, that's all I have. You're welcome. And I'm going to take my joke.
Okay, remember to pass those jokes forward. Oh, that was Julie's joke right there. Okay. A couple of things just to let and repeat maybe and emphasize what Cindy has talked about. How many in here are going to or have applied for an LOP, for a local occupational program? Okay. I just, thank you. Appreciate that. Okay. What do you call a fake noodle? An impasta. An impasta. Did I? You got to back up? Okay. All right. Thank you. Emily.
Good morning. I'm Emily Brown, the School Counselor Director at the Department of Education. I'm excited to be here today to provide you all with a few announcements in the school counseling world. But before I do that, I have a very funny joke related to what school counselors do in preparing students for employment. The employer says, "We need someone responsible for the job." The job applicant says, "Your search ends here. In my previous job, whenever something went wrong, everyone said, 'I'm responsible.'" All right, we'll move on to the next slide. Oh, I have it. Awesome. Okay, so I'm excited to announce that we have a brand new staff member. She started 2 weeks ago. The new school counselor specialist is Heather Anderson. We're really excited to welcome her to the team to provide school counselors across the state with additional support. She comes to this position at the department with over 20 years of experience in education, serving as a school counselor in the West Valley of Phoenix. So we're very excited to have her as part of our team. We're also excited to announce that we have a brand new event. So I've been working with the lovely Akova, and we have created the School Counselor Retreat, which will be held at the Fall Conference. And this will be an opportunity for school counselors to receive professional development. We'll have 4 sessions for them, and we have a separate registration for the counselors. So they only have to pay $100. This will include their lunch, 4 sessions, and it'll go from about 9 a.m. to 4 p.m. This will be held just alongside the administrators meeting and the beginning of the fall conference. They'll be invited to the welcome and have lunch with all of us. So we're really excited to be able to provide them with additional support. The focus of the school counselor retreat will be strengthening the relationships between administrators and school counselors and really enhancing that work and that collaboration to ensure that all students have the resources and support they need to participate in CTE programs. We're also excited to announce that we are planning the School Counselor Construction Career Day. That will be held September 30th here in Phoenix at Sunt Construction. And that will be a half-day event. In the morning, school counselors can come and participate in hands-on activities and heavy equipment, welding, pipe fitting, and concrete, and they'll be receiving information on career pathways within the construction industry. So we're very excited. We have 50 school counselors signed up for this event. So feel free to pass this form along to any counselors, or if you're interested in coming, that would be great. The more the merrier. We don't have a cap on attendance. They said as many as you can bring. So we're really excited. Sunt will be providing lunch as well as a little gift for everybody that's in attendance. So if you have counselors that want to learn more about construction and the career pathways and job opportunities, please send them to this event. Everyone's favorite 4-letter word, ECAP. So the education and career action plans are still a requirement. I know schools have a lot of turnover, and sometimes the person that submits ECAPs changes from year to year. No worry, you can reach out to myself or Heather and we can support them with these plans. They will be due to the EMAC system by April 30th of 2025. Heather and I will go through, review the plans, and reach out to you if we see any issues. When you don't hear from us, that's a good thing. But feel free to check out our newly updated ECAP website. Kathy Bowersock in the back has graciously updated that with all new resources. So check that out. I have that page bookmarked. I use it a lot, and I'm sure whoever is doing ECAPs at your school would like to have that bookmarked as well. So feel free to share that link with them. All right. Yay! A break. Do you want me to announce it? All right, let's take a 10-minute break. So meet us back here at 9:40. 9:40. Like, I like the good news. Good announcements.
Prop 479 will expand freeways and fix dangerous intersections.
Ensure emergency services can reach you.
And preserve dial-a-ride access.
It's funded the 101, the 202, and the 303. Keep Maricopa County moving. Vote yes on Prop 479.
And welcome back to this U.S. Open office plan.
Miller just lobbed a message way over Jones's head using some technical jargon.
Oh, and Jones brings the heat with a per my last email.
They need to start working together if they want to ace this project.
Let's see if they can use Grammarly to their advantage. Jones is using it to make her point in a friendly way.
And Miller is taking empathetic out for a spin.
And this could be the tiebreak, Bill. Grammarly is an AI writing partner that helps you sound like the best version of yourself. And that's what we need to see here today.
It's also super private, Jill. It keeps your data in your court.
Oh, and now Miller's taking a technical doc and asking Grammarly to rewrite it. Just look at that. It's so much shorter and much easier to understand.
And now she's serving it over to Jones in a blazing fast email. She tossed it up to Grammarly to get a quick first draft.
What an angle. Let's see what makes the difference. It's love all, but does Jones feel it?
Yes. Jones is leaving comments in the doc and using Grammarly to make sure they go straight down the line.
Comments approved. Jones is sending the updated doc to the VP. And it's in.
Incredible. She aced it. You know, they've been batting this back and forth for weeks, and now the team can finally move forward.
Thanks to Grammarly, every word you write helps you reach your goal.
Download Grammarly for free.
Kamala Harris was raised to take action whenever she saw something that was.
Okay, this is always the hardest part, getting everybody to networking, and appreciate that. Hopefully you'll have a chance to finish those conversations when we come back. My boss asked me how good I was at making spreadsheets. I told him that I excel at it. Word up. My boss calls me the computer, not because of my calculation skills, but because I go to sleep after being unattended for 15 minutes. Okay. All right. Last week, I had a great experience. Is anybody a ACTE-AZ fellow? Anybody a fellow? Yeah. So if you're not, and if you haven't been through that, I highly recommend it. It's the next evolution probably in your leadership. Besides the information that you get, the growth opportunity is just fantastic. But Stephen asked some of us to sit in, and it was a great experience that I had, not only just reconnecting, but just because of what Stephen does at ACTE-AZ. So with that, I'm going to bring up ACTE-AZ. All right.
Thanks, Kevin. Well, good morning, CTE. It's good to be with you. Those of you who I haven't met, Stephen Welch, Executive Director for your association. I'm really here to serve you and connect you with other colleagues through programs such as the one that Kevin mentioned, the Fellows Program. So it's good to be here this morning. If you would just have a quick reflection on when we talk about the American dream, what does that mean to you? What does that conjure up in your head when you think about the American dream? And if you would share with a shoulder partner that idea. What are the connotations you think of with the American dream? Just share that with a shoulder partner. All right, 3, 2, and 1. I know that wasn't enough time to really get into conversations with something as complex and dynamic as the American dream, but when I think of career and technical education, this is what I think of. I think of the American dream. I know for me personally and for many, many others, CTE, Career and Technical Education, provides both the technical and the professional skills to really fuel that American dream. Because I was a CTE student at Glendale High School in the accounting program, Glendale Union, yep. I earned those skills we're talking about through both the classroom, also through the work-based learning, which is why I really applaud ADE's leadership in this new position to acquire those skills to accomplish and to live my own version of that American dream. And that is what you guys do. It's why I'm so excited to be able to do this position and support the good work that happens in your programs and with those classrooms that you represent. The association is all about that. Your association is here to connect you with other like-minded folks so that together we can really elevate Arizona so that everyone in our communities knows and realizes that American dream. This work that we do is really thanks to those in the room and our leaders on the board. We have a board of directors. In addition to our fellows program, I'd really encourage you this spring to consider running for that board of directors. The board has 23 people on it, so lots of opportunity. Too many to put pictures of everyone, but the pictures here behind me are our executive officers. Those are those elections that happen every spring. Thank you very much. I know Lindsay is in the room right now. Thank you. All of our executive officers are on the Zoom, though, so Kevin, thanks for that option. Really want to thank these people and you for leading the association and doing the good work that we do. Couple important dates coming up. On your table when you picked up this morning, you have a flyer for call for presentations for our midwinter leadership. I, like you, am super excited about ACOVA and looking forward to the good things that are going to happen this fall. Right behind that in February, of course, is the Midwinter Leadership Conference. Please, we really want more and more sessions that show your best practices. You know, I was just on the break talking with Lindsay and Josh about semiconductor and programs. I mean, those are the kinds of things we'd like to invite you to do this call for presentations so that we can get some more real hands-on practical kind of workshops going at the conference. So please consider that opportunity. Again, that flyer is in front of you. We will include it in a mailing as well. And finally, save the date for the summer CTE conference. In the fall, we're going to talk a little bit about hotels. We have to have some family conversations about how do we make this easier for hotel booking for that summer conference so it's not so crazy for you all. So I look forward to talking with you this fall about that. But honest to goodness, the work that you do in your programs, this networking that you do today is really to make a better Arizona. I'm a native of Arizona. I'm very proud native of Arizona. And you make this a better place. You make it the place I want to call home, right? It's not home because I was born here. It's home because of the good work that we all do together, and that's because of you. So thank you for the work you do. Speaking of building a better home, though, you all know in this room, it's our teachers that make that difference. That's a core value I've had from early on, the incredible difference that teachers do in the classroom. So everything we can do to empower and strengthen our teachers and their effectiveness is what this association and you are about. And I can't think of a better person to really lead this effort through our Premier Series than Amber Gloria, who was an incredible successful teacher in the Deer Valley District for 10 years. So I'd like to introduce you to Amber Gloria, who's going to talk a little bit about the Premier Series.
Applause already. Thank you. Well, thank you, Stephen. Hello, everyone. I'm Amber Gloria, Premier Series Coordinator for ACT AZ. The Premier Series is a comprehensive career and technical education teacher preparation program, which currently consists of 26 courses approved by Arizona Department of Education. Our purpose for the Premier Series is designed to enhance CTE teacher training. Our goal is to offer this professional development and these opportunities that not only satisfy teacher certification requirements, but also empower educators to excel in their roles. You can ask me as a former teacher for 10 years, I personally can attest to the impact that the Premier Series has had on my practice, along with the support and resources that I received to adapt to the role of an educator straight from industry. The Premier Series courses are suitable for all teachers, whether they are new to the profession or are transitioning into new subject areas. All right, successful transition. Some of you may remember as early as 15 years ago, the only way for CTE teachers to satisfy their certification requirements was to take college courses. Thanks to the dedication and development of the Premier Series courses by many educators in CTE, the Premier Series exists now as a solution to those obstacles for teachers based on the input from you, the administrators and the directors like yourselves, who advocated for a way to meet teachers where they were at. So transitioning into education from their industries and giving students opportunities. So this is a response for the growing demand of our CTE teachers and a way to retain them in our districts. Our CTE teachers are the frontline educators, and we provide them with the tools and techniques to enhance their effectiveness. Our training helps CTE administrators to support their teams and strengthen their program success. Our collaboration with business and industry aims to bridge the gap between education and the current workforce demands. Our 26 courses are delivered both in person and virtually, tailored to various aspects of CTE, and offer engaging formats that suit the needs and schedules for our teachers. Across Arizona, we have 31 vetted instructors who bring experience and expertise to the table, meeting monthly to share best practices and enhance relevance in the classroom. And our annual retreat allows us to establish necessary course revisions in order to support teacher effectiveness. Wrong way. Okay. So our courses, and you should have maybe seen the flyer when you walked in for our upcoming schedule on your tables, perhaps. You can reference this. The flyer is noting that we do have an upcoming course at the COVA conference. It's called Effective Demonstrations for Teachers. So this is a new endeavor we're putting together. And as I look back on the previous slide, I look around the room at all of you. I'm inspired, and I'm looking forward to the future and witnessing what we can all do in the next 15 years in CTE, and I thank you for your leadership. As always, please feel free to reach out to me, introduce yourself, get to know me and what your district and teacher training needs are, and I look forward to seeing you soon. Thank you.
I can't say enough good things about ACT-AZ. Okay. Why do tigers have stripes? Because they don't want to be spotted. Yeah. Oh. Thank you, Amber. Stephen, thank you for your leadership. And again, I can't say enough good things about what ACTE does for our new teachers, our veterans teachers. How many are new CTE directors this year, first year? Okay. We are here to support you as well, but we, again, and so is ACTE-AZ, but you have a group specifically that supports CTE administrators, and that's a COVA. We are, at ADE, we couldn't do what a COVA does, what ACTE-AZ does, what the Curriculum Connection does, what Project Search does, and so we value our partners. And they're a large part of what we do and how we change things. And so one of those things, and I just want to emphasize this a little bit more, Emily spoke to it, there's a counselors conference in November. That came as a result of the recommendation of a COVA. We know that counselors are that kind of the in-between group. They're the gatekeepers, though, for your programs. And so we really want to include them in the operations for what we do. They also serve the students that are non-CTE. So any type of support that we can provide for counselors to help to encourage building up your CTE programs, we think it's a great value. But with that, COVA, John. I don't know if that was for me or for you. That applause.
It was for you. Okay. I didn't hear a joke out of Stephen, so I will follow suit. Not yours, I'll follow Kevin's suit. And my board, you're going to have to forgive me for this one. What do you call a person who does not pass gas in public? A private tutor. Yeah. Very good. Okay. Well, the irony is this does say your professional association. We really are professional. Thank you, Kevin, for the opportunity. So we represent CTE administrators, both secondary and post-secondary throughout the state of Arizona. And we, oops, wrong way. Here's our amazing board. Most of us are here today. They're right over there at that table in the black shirt. If you just kind of wave your hands, board. Thank you. We do have one change on our board. I wanted to announce that tonight or today. Dr. Erica Young-Jackson has taken a job in California. So she's leaving our wonderful state, and therefore she's had to resign from the board. And so the board unanimously voted to appoint someone to take her place and to finish out her term. So Dr. Navdeep Rajput, if you'd stand and so everybody can see you. Thank you, Navdeep. So Navdeep is in the San Carlos Unified School District, and she will join our board immediately and fulfill Dr. Jackson's role. So immediately following this meeting, we do have our mini M&M. Mini M&M is specifically designed for those newer directors. It's an opportunity for you to get some one-on-one or small group attention, answer some questions that you might have, mostly just wrap your head around CTE in general because things change, they change rapidly, and so we support you. And so our mentoring process allows us to meet with you as often as we can to provide that extra instruction. So if you registered for it, there's no cost to it, but you may have registered for it. That'll immediately follow this meeting. For those of you that are viewing virtually, that will also be provided to you. We do have some extra lunches, so if you did not sign up and you want to take advantage of this, please stick around. You're more than welcome to join us. This is new, so as part of our mentoring, we now provide a monthly mentoring minute. This is where we pull in professionals from around the state, and we offer about a 1-hour virtual session on specific topics. We did 2 in August. We had Julie join us for CTSOs, and we had Jennifer join us from the consortium. And I will tell you, even though there was a small attendance, it was a great atmosphere. It was a small group, an opportunity to ask questions, specific questions to you, and get those answered. So we're going to continue to offer those. We have some sessions coming up throughout the next few months, and those will be posted on our website like everything else I'm going to talk about. So we encourage you to join us for those. As mentioned, we do have Fall Conference coming up November 7th and 8th. The hotels, the main hotel, I believe Eric has booked already, correct? So that's a good thing. If you have booked your room and you have not registered, we encourage you to register so we can get a good head count there. There are overflow hotels for that, or no hotels for that. You heard from Emily that we added a counselor track, and that's just a demonstration of how we partner with others. We know that our organization supports administrators, but we add that extra support by bringing counselors into the room to meet with CTE leaders so that we can all get on the same page and speak the same language. So we're excited for that. We appreciate Emily and the ADE for cooperating and coordinating that with us. That I mentioned. Stephen mentioned also coming up in February, obviously, is our midwinter conference. I need to go back. Yes. We are in need of presenters at our conference as well. And so you're going to have 2 calls for presentations, one from us, one from ACTE, AZ for the 2 different conferences. Please, you are the experts in the state. Don't ever feel like no one wants to hear from you, because we all do. So if you would, you can put in a proposal on our website. Part of our conference will be our annual fundraiser for our student scholarships. We are committed to 4 $1,000 scholarships as part of our fundraising event. With that in mind, we do 2 different things, and one of those is that we have an auction. And oftentimes, most of you bring items, so we're encouraging you to bring those items again to Fall Conference. Also, if you have student-made products, those are fantastic as well. So please consider bringing something for the conference. this is awesome. All of you know Kurt. Kurt was voted our Spirit of Acova winner. We announced that at summer conference this year, and we appreciate everything that Kurt has done for us throughout the state of Arizona. On our website, we like to honor and recognize all of you as often as we can publicly. The problem is most of you don't nominate yourself, and that's okay. And a lot of people don't know enough about you to nominate you, right? They know you're wonderful, but they don't know all the details. But please, if you have somebody nearby, somebody in your CTED, somebody that you know well enough that you feel would deserve a little recognition on our website, there's a form. Please go online, fill it out. We would love to be able to do that for you. If you are part of our contact list, you will get a monthly newsletter. You can go online if you're not part of our contact list, and you can sign up, and we'll make sure that you are getting those on a regular basis. We also have our social media presence, and so you can look us up there and join us as well. And that's where typically you will get most of your updates for Acova. Okay, any questions for me before I vamonos? No? Okay, thank you very much.
Whoa, excuse me. I was reading at the same time. Did you hear about the deer that went to the dentist? It had buck teeth. Who did that? All right, Jennifer.
Okay, good morning, everyone. It's a pleasure to be here with you this morning. My name is Jennifer Brooks. I'm the director of the Arizona CTE Curriculum Consortium. I did not have a joke planned, and after, especially John this morning, I don't know that I could follow that. So I'm just going to go ahead with our updates here at the Curriculum Consortium. So we are, Debbie and I, and this is Debbie's first CTEA meeting, so if you don't know Debbie McKinney, our assistant director, please stop by and say hello. We are proud to serve and execute the vision of our member districts, and we represent currently 39, and we're working with a few more to join. Member districts, which their membership through the CTEDs represents over 140 districts, organizations, private, charter, and parochial schools across Arizona that deliver approved CTE programs. So we are thrilled to serve as the voice and execute the vision of our members in relationship to providing quality curriculum for your CTE program teachers. And of course, we appreciate our partners as well, as you can see there across the bottom. A few quick updates for us. Since I was with you at the summer conference in July, we've published new resources in all of these programs. Additionally, just yesterday, we were fortunate to publish Construction Technologies Instructional Terminology. So that went out, notification of that. So if you have a construction program, be on the lookout for that. We are pleased to always work with our CTE teachers and content experts to develop those resources. We worked for construction. I just want to highlight that specifically because we worked with 2 construction technologies teachers to develop that resource, Christina Page and Travis Black, who you'll recognize as the award winner from ACTEAZ for Teacher of the Year, I think it was. So yeah, so we appreciate all of our support from our member districts to provide educators to develop these resources on our behalf. As you'll also see here, through those 6 weeks from summer conference until the end of August, our site experienced over 60,000 page views of teachers, educators hungry for resources to implement in their CTE classrooms. So we couldn't do the good work that we do without all of our member districts, so we appreciate you, and we continue to track that. Thank you to the member districts who have nominated and are supporting teachers to join us. We will be in Glendale the next 2 days having a scope and sequence event to develop additional resources for automotive collision repair, early childhood education, and software and app development. And of course, these programs align with updated standards from ADE, and then we follow in their wake to develop additional resources. So we are fortunate to welcome teachers from all across the state coming to join us to collaborate and have an opportunity to contribute and share best practices. And we, it's one of the highlights of what we do is working with those teacher teams. So we appreciate that. If you ever see invitations coming out from us, please nominate your teachers and send them. Additionally, we're hiring. We currently have a couple of full-time positions open, including a staff curriculum writer. So if you know a certified CTE teacher who is exceptional, not that I'm trying to steal anyone away, but we are looking for some folks for writing curriculum full-time. And then just as of yesterday, we have posted the apprenticeship coordinator position. So work-based learning must be the talk of the day here, because we also, if you've been around at our quarterly meetings, you understand that we are working on a grant-funded initiative to provide apprenticeship opportunities for a few skills programs statewide, and so we are looking for someone to help run that. So apprenticeship coordinator position was just posted yesterday. And then, of course, we are always looking part-time for folks to serve as content experts. If you have a rock star teacher, send them our way. We pay them to either just provide their subject matter expertise, and we just want to confirm that what we're producing is relevant and accurate. So these programs specifically, but really anything. Pima JTED is our fiscal agent, and so those positions are currently posted on the Pima JTED website. All of our positions, we are a remote-first organization. All of our positions are completely remote, but Arizona residency is required. So please send your applicants our way. We do have our upcoming quarterly meeting, of course. Invitations went out yesterday, so if you did not get an invitation and you want to join us, it is a virtual session, October 30th. So please let me know. And we welcome, as I mentioned, Debbie and I are really just here to execute your vision and your voice, and so we would love to hear from you and see you on October 30th. And with that, of course, we of course have social media as well. Feel free to follow us or reach out at any time, support@CTECAZ. Thank you so much.
I met a giant once. I didn't know what to say, so I just used big words. Okay, again, we couldn't do what we do or support you without our partners. So Project Change, Maya, thank you very much.
Hello, good morning, everyone. So I do have a joke. Where do you learn to make ice cream? You learn at Sunday school. All right, so yeah, thank you. It's nice to be here. So yeah, I'm Maya Salas. I'm from the University of Arizona, and at the university I work for a project called Project Change. Now, as you can see, the change in our title stands for Careers Harassment and Non-Traditional Gender Education. And so our mission at Project Change is to work to increase gender non-traditional enrollment within CTE programs in the state of Arizona. And so we care about this work because, well, for a lot of reasons, but we do know that on a personal level, when students are able to expand the careers that they're considering, and they're not just limiting those career choices to what they think is acceptable for their gender, when they really expand those choices, they're really increasing their likelihood for finding a career that brings them greater satisfaction. So on a personal level, that's why we really promote this sort of work. But on a societal level, we also know that working to improve gender non-traditional enrollment works towards lessening the gender pay gap. So currently, right now, the gender pay gap says that for every dollar that a man makes, a woman will make 84 cents. And a big reason why we see these gaps is because a lot of the industries and career sectors that women go into historically have just been paid less than the industries that men tend to go into. And so if we really want to try to challenge these sort of trends that we see, it does a lot to do outreach to students to talk to them about gender stereotypes and how we learn gender stereotypes and how that could then potentially lead us into certain career sectors. And so just kind of expanding those sort of choices for students. On a workplace level, we know that companies that have greater gender diversity report a lot of positive sort of results. So for one of those results is they have lower rates of sexual harassment. They also have a greater variability within their skills of their employees, and that's just because they're expanding their hiring pool. So instead of just limiting who they're gonna hire to half of the population, they're looking at the whole population. So you're gonna get greater skills, greater kind of diversity and experiences. And so that really helps to enhance innovation within a company, enhance collaboration and creativity and the types of solutions that people come up with together. With all of that, there's also improved company just reputation, because when people know that this is a space where gender diversity or really any type of diversity is valued, people want to go there. And when people want to be at that company and it has a good public reputation, people stay there, so there's greater retention as well. And so there's a lot of surveys that ask millennials, like, what do you look for in a workplace? And a lot of millennials are saying that they want diversity. They want gender diversity, racial diversity, and so it really helps workplaces and just kind of the culture and the employee satisfaction to sort of have those sort of representation within their workforce. So what do we do about this? What sort of services can we provide to schools? So we offer presentations to both educators and students. All of our presentations are free. The professional development that we offer for educators, it can go towards professional development hours, so that's really helpful. And then also the format of our presentations is within like a myriad of sort of formats. So we have in-person, which I prefer, and fortunately our budget allows me to travel around and go to different schools across Arizona, so that's great. But we also offer live Zoom sessions if that's better for your school schedule, or pre-recorded video presentations as well. So now we're gonna get into the presentations, and if you haven't already, go ahead and you can scan the QR code. Yeah, I hope you can see it already. All right. But the QR code basically has, my contact information. So if you would like to contact me and schedule one of these presentations, it's on that flyer. But it also has a description of all of our presentations. And I'm going to go ahead and kind of give a little description myself, but the flyer will also have it. So the first presentation is CTE 101, and that's like just the basics of CTE. This is really, really great for 9th graders, maybe people who just don't really know a lot about CTE, maybe even middle school students could be really helpful as well. So it's just talking about what is CTE, what are the benefits, what can it do for students in terms of setting themselves up for the career that they want. The next one is gender, CTE, and non-traditional career success. And this is the one where we really talk to students about gender stereotypes. How do we learn gender stereotypes? How do those stereotypes then sometimes, funnel students into certain career paths based on their gender? And so it's really just getting students to think outside the box and consider the benefits of a gender non-traditional career. The next two, stopping sexual harassment and digital citizenship and cyberbullying, those two really together work to kind of address any sort of issues that schools might be having with sexual harassment or bullying. The reason why we fit these presentations into our mission as a program is that we understand that if students, gender non-traditional students, if they're gonna be brave enough to take the risk to do something maybe different than the gender norm in our society, they need to be in a school context and climate where they feel protected, where they feel safe. And so if there's lots of issues with sexual harassment or cyberbullying on a school's campus, it can really maybe dissuade a student from being willing to kind of take that leap and do something outside of gender norms. The last one is recruitment and retention of non-traditional students. This is the professional development session that we offer for educators. In this session, we get educators together. We talk about what we think are the barriers preventing non-traditional students from enrolling in programs, and I provide certain learning theory lenses, and through those lenses, we kind of get together and just brainstorm solutions and strategies for recruiting and then retaining our gender non-traditional students. So that's a summary of our programs, and again, if you would like to reach out to me, my contact is on the flyer. I have printed flyers that I brought, and I'll try to come around at the end of today's session and pass them out to different tables, but you can come find me. I'm up here at the very front, okay? All right, thank you.
I don't know, for those probably in the back of the room, I want to commend Maya. She did that whole presentation while standing on her toes, so. Well done, well done. Oh, yeah, that's good. What time is it when the clock strikes 13? time to get a new clock. So for sake of time, speaking of, I'm just going to go through a little bit on this CTE Model Program Awards. And I mentioned it at the very beginning. I'm a big person on celebration and recognition, and I know there's so much that's going on out there, so many good practices. When Cindy's team comes back or Julie comes back, they're always bragging about what's going on. And so we just I'm trying to find a way to share that. And again, as Sandy Ogilvy in our department had recommended, that we do some type of recognition. So it's not an award, or it's an award, but it's not a competition. And so there's basically two ways to be recognized. One is that through Samuel's work, we're able to collect the data. But the big one is that if you want to just be able to share the practice with us so that we can share others. And what we've done is, and we were going to do this at your table, but I want to be able to save time for Trevor, is that if there's an area for which you're doing well, or that you think that you're doing well, whether it's placement, credentials, program enrollment, Perkins, TSA, your students are doing well in TSA, CTSO engagement, you'll share that practice with us, and then we'll be able to share it with the field. So it's real easy to get the award. You're basically, as I was glad to hear that OCOVA is recognizing the Administrator Spotlight. We want to be able to recognize and support you as well. So you'll be hearing more about that as we go along. But with that, I would like to turn it over to Trevor Stokes. Many of you know Trevor. He was briefly mentioned that he is the chair of the Curriculum Consortium, or the Quality Commission, for which a lot of our work goes through it to the State Board of Education. He's nationally renowned, probably internationally renowned, the work that he does. So again, this is our effort to become more transparent. And yeah, so please welcome Trevor Stokes.
All right, good morning. Is everybody still awake at the end of our meeting? How many of you still remember your high school years? You still remember your high school years? Do you remember any point during that experience where you may have gotten discouraged or had a roadblock or had an obstacle come up that made you question why you were even there? It happened to me 1.5 million years ago when I was, in a high school. I had an incident with bullying, so I'm glad that was mentioned a little bit earlier, right? And I want to tell you a little bit about what happened that day, because it was a seminal moment. I was confronted by a group of what I now would know to call bullies. I was insulted. I was called names. They literally stole my lunch, and while you may think that this is a cliche from some poorly written sitcom, I was literally shoved into a locker with the door closed. And that, ladies and gentlemen, was the day that I marched myself to the principal's office and resigned as that school's English teacher. Now, I know y'all probably heard me when I started talking up here, and you're now thinking there's no way somebody that sounds like that ever taught English. What we speak in East Tennessee, believe it or not, is the same language that we speak here, and I really was an English teacher. I've been in Arizona now for over a decade. I've had 4 daughters either graduate from or are currently enrolled in, Liberty High School in Peoria. Defending Open Division state football champions. Just want to throw that in there. One of my daughters she's now 20 years old and working as a cosmetologist, really happy with her career path. But I was having a conversation with her and a friend of hers about life after high school and what their intentions were. And, it was a really enlightening moment when she said to me, "Dad, I don't think I would have graduated high school without my culinary arts program." She said it was the only Excuse me. She said it was the only thing I looked forward to every week. She said it was the only thing that I was really interested in just because the subject interested me. She said I couldn't say that about English or math or history. Thank you, Kevin. She said, but I could say that about culinary arts, right? And that, I think, is an extremely important point that a lot of people do not get about what we do in career and technical education, right? Thank you, Kevin. Thank you. Had something in my throat. So, where was I? I got distracted by water. I was talking about the role of career and technical education. Some of you may have seen me do a presentation over the last year or two. I've done it more than 60 times now. I've done it all over the country. But the study that I did is called The Post-COVID Student. And the subtitle on that presentation is A Crisis of Engagement. And my thesis in this is like this. It was not just because of COVID, but there were a confluence of factors around that time that has caused an emotional disengagement from a lot of the institutions and concepts that we have often considered bedrock in our society. So that is one of the guiding principles in my firm, P2C, which stands for Pathway to Careers. We believe that when education is relevant to the learner, that learners will engage in that experience. That is our core belief, that's our core concept, and that is why we have developed our entire firm around this idea. Career and technical education entities are a lot of our clients, state-level departments of education in Massachusetts, New Mexico, Tennessee, Wyoming, are clients of ours, as well as what I'm going to talk about today. So my firm has taken this concept of relevance in learning and built our entire suite of products and services around that idea. So I'm not here to talk about this. I just wanted to give you a quick introduction. As an example, one of our core products, we built a math curriculum. 3 years, algebra, algebra 2, geometry, entirely aligned to the appropriate standards, customizable for any state system, but every instructional objective in algebra and geometry are taught within the context of why this matters to a career in the world of work, right? That's the approach that we take to everything that we do, and that is why we are now working to help you here in the Arizona Department of Education on some revisions to our Perkins Plan, right? So the background, if you are not familiar with what has happened so far, it goes something like this. Our objective, and Kevin said somebody put this on his door recently, we have to get to a yes. Our Perkins Plan was rejected by the state board twice. So they are not satisfied with what we currently have in the Perkins Plan, and they are demanding some changes before they will vote in the affirmative to approve our Perkins Plan. So, as we're going about looking at this, I have 5 guiding principles that we are using to provide guardrails, to provide traffic lines, keep us on track for this process. Number 1, and this I believe is core to all of us, whatever we do, whatever we write, whatever we submit, it's going to bring value to our students. That's number 1. It's also going to bring value to our employers, and one of the objections, and I'll show you how we've organized these issues, it needs to reflect the vision of the state board, and you may be interested in this one because I know a lot of you contributed to this work. One of our guiding principles is that we will honor the work that has been done to date. We have no intention of removing or overriding the inputs that you all had into the development of this plan. And we will document and communicate at every step of the way. We are going to have an online repository for information that you'll be able to access. I'll be giving updates at every meeting of the State Board of Education, and we will, by the end of this process, get our Perkins Plan approved and make sure that everyone, to every degree possible, is happy with what came out of it. So here is how we've organized the work. I organized these around the issues that I heard from the members of the State Board of Education who would not vote to approve our plan. All right. Number one, they said the board itself was not engaged enough in the process of writing our Perkins Plan. They thought that this plan should reflect the vision and integrate the vision of the board for education as a whole and CTE specifically into the content of the plan. That was objection number one. I should have given you the background on this. In order to find these objections, my team and we went back. We watched the recordings of every Board of Education meeting in which our plan was submitted. We have had conversations with the executive director of the board and some board members, which I'll give you some details on as we go through this. But this stream of work we're going to address in a number of ways. Number one, we had a personal meeting with the director of the board. I am still in the process of meeting individually, one-on-one, with every member of the state board that will talk to us. I actually have one of those conversations scheduled for 2 o'clock this afternoon, right? We are doing our best to go through every single one of them. Sean Ross is helping us. He is sending out reminder emails to the board members, asking them to contact me to set up a meeting. As I said, we're going to be giving updates to the board at each of their meetings between now and the end of the year, and we will be writing a summary of what we hear from them, what we understand their vision to be as we go through this process, and we will integrate that into the plan at a minimum as an introduction or a prelude to the required components of the plan that you know we'll have to write. So the second issue that we heard in reviewing all of these meetings and conversations, they said there was not enough industry participation in the process of developing the plan. So we do have a way to do that. We're going to work through our assets at the Arizona Economic Education Commission, as well as some other avenues to document inputs from industry partners, right? This was one of the objections we heard at least 3 different times in the board meetings. Whether the level of reality in industry engagement during this process doesn't really matter, because perception is reality, right? And if they perceive that there wasn't enough industry engagement, whether there was or not, we're going to go engage industry, right? And we're going to collect and document the inputs we glean from those industry partners. Third stream of work was the state-determined levels of performance. Many of you, of course, will have opinions on this. You're going to have opinions on all of this, and I'm going to share how we want to collect your opinions here before I'm done. But those levels of performance were discussed in detail at the board meetings. I think we may have an opportunity to explain in some more detail what these measures are and what they mean to the board members. We're going to make an effort to do that, to make sure we all are proceeding from the same understanding of the terms and of these metrics. So we will be communicating, building the narrative. We will make sure that every formula that we use is defensible, that it aligns with federal law, that it aligns with the realities in your districts. That's, again, one of the things that we will be engaging directly with you to help create. And we will review those federally mandated minimums in the SDLP formulas. in some cases, there were objections to things that we didn't have any control over. So we'll make sure that we go back and document that and communicate it in an effective way to these board members. And then the one that stokes the most passion, the fourth and final category of objections we heard and that we have to find a way to address is the post-secondary funding split in Perkins. Currently, that split is at 82% secondary, 18% post-secondary. The board members, several of them, plural, led by the board president, have said that they want that split to change to 75-25. That is what they are demanding currently. There are a lot of different ways to look at this funding split. They are really focused on this percentage share. There are other ways to look at it, including dollars per post-secondary institution coming from Perkins funds. If you look at the percentage split, we are among the bottom 10 in the country in terms of the share going to post-secondary institutions. If you look at the total dollars per post-secondary institution, then we are in the top 15. There are multiple ways to look at this, and in particular, the board members who serve as presidents or other roles in a community college are really pushing for this revision to that funding split. So obviously this one is a big deal. So we are working to create an impact analysis on this. Sam, of course, is helping us. Sam is on the executive team on this project that is helping us to work through all of these issues. So we're going to be collecting real data. We want to make sure that we can paint a big picture of funding that goes to our secondary level CTE programs, that goes to the post-secondary CTE programs. We want to have a big picture on this issue so that we can make the case that I'm sure you want us to make, right? That is the fourth category. So board engagement, industry engagement, the SDLPs, and the funding split. Those are the ones that those are the issues to which the board objects, and those are the ones we are working to address. We're not entirely sure yet how we're going to address that, but there was a decision made to bring in my firm just to be an impartial third voice, right? There seems to be some, I'm not sure how best to word it. I asked the president of the board in our one-on-one meeting if he felt the relationship between ADE and the board had become adversarial. And he paused, said that's a really good question. He said, and I think it's probably yes. So I think that's one of the value propositions that we bring now as a third party, right? Not having been involved in the interpersonal dynamics that have contributed to the rejection of our plan as it was written. So we have a number of great people from ADE and my firm working on this. Dr. Joseph Goins is my partner in P2C. He is a thought leader in the world of career-connected learning. He and I told you about that career-connected math curriculum that we built. He and I literally scratched that out on the back of a napkin in a bar in like 2011, right? 13 years later, we finally have it done and on a shelf ready to go. But he's been on this topic that long. Tracy Bryan is my partner that you may also, a name you may also see. Then, of course, myself, Colette Chapman, and Kevin Imes are providing leadership on this project. The ones actually doing the work, include myself, but all of the leaders who are meeting regularly to plan our approach to this, to revise, review, strategize, and support this, because the last thing I want to do is to write something, get all the way to and only submit it to you at some point when it's almost done and we're just asking you to only then weigh in on it, right? So we're committed to transparency and to documenting this process as we go so that we can, as I said at the beginning of this presentation, get to a yes, right? That's our objective, something that everyone is going to be okay with. The timeline currently, because you know our plan was submitted last year when it was supposed to be, but then rejected. So we have the board meetings coming up between now and the end of the year, at which I'll be providing updates. The milestones we now have, in order to hit the dates and get this plan in front of the board for a vote on time, looks like this. We will be submitting the draft revised plan by January 15th. That is an intimidating deadline, right? If you've ever participated, and I know most of you have, in writing one of these, you know this is not a quick afternoon project. So that deadline is looming large for my team and the executive team here. We will have to, in order to make the timeline work, we will have to post for public comment by February 1st, okay? Then the revised plan, after that public comment, will be submitted for a vote at the state board meeting on April 13th. And hopefully, we will have no surprises. I will say, if we're able to do this project the way I intend to do it, we will already know how everyone intends to vote before we ever get to that meeting, right? That's what I hope to be able to do. So with that, I will encourage you to reach out to me directly if you have input or have anything that you would like me to consider, but you do not have to do this. You know, we are going to be conducting outreach to you, to various stakeholder groups. It may come in the form of a survey, because just in the interest of time and the timeline that we have, conducting in-person summits is probably not going to be practical. So we are still deciding exactly what that's going to look like, but we will be keeping you up to date and hopefully getting to a plan that we can live with, right? So I'm going to do something, because I have just a couple of minutes here, and Kevin encouraged me to do this. Again, this is not where we're going to collect all of your input, but I do want to go back across these 4 topics, and I want to ask somebody just quickly to volunteer to offer some thoughts on each of these categories, right? Going back to the first one, the very first one was board engagement. And I laid out our approach to engaging the board, documenting their vision, and integrating it to every degree possible into our Perkins plan. Did anybody have a thought that kind of yelled out loud in your mind as we were talking about board engagement? Just going to do popcorn style here, see who has a thought. Nobody has a thought on that. All right, what about on industry engagement? Did anything pop into your mind then? Recommendations, best practices. What do you have back there? She said she feels like the struggle is often in rural areas more intense because, you know, for obvious reasons, and I think that's a great observation. You know, I do a lot of work with rural districts and rural workforce boards, and that is always an issue. I think that's a very, very important point to make. Yeah.
I think that the way that we deliver CTE, that industry needs to understand that, and some of the limitations that we face in a secondary classroom.
I think that's a very good point. She said that industry needs to better understand what we do in CTE and how we function in the classrooms. And I think that's entirely legitimate, right? We do a lot of industry education summits, and you know, industry representatives can pretty quickly tell you, here are the skills we need, here are the technologies you need to be able to use, et cetera. But understanding what it takes to integrate that kind of input into our classrooms, that's not what they're supposed to know, right? That's what we get paid to do. But sometimes their expectations, may be a little out of line with what we're capable of doing immediately in the classroom. What about that third one? This may get more input. The levels of performance. Again, this is not your only chance to input, but I want to get your immediate thoughts.
And we worked on them and we talked about them and the state has adjusted them. Are those still standing? Are those the actual SDLPs that we're moving forward with in the plan? Because there are SDLPs in that plan that we need to, as directors, either at the CTED and or satellite area, we need to adjust curriculum because of it. And we need time to do that without being feeling like it's a punishment to our programs, because we have strong programs at our site. So I think that that's something we need to know in the now, because there are directors in this room that have already started that shift where, and the number one SDLP that, for me, it's kind of almost personal at this point.
Sure.
Is the technical skills assessment, where we're changing the verbiage from who completes the program to now the concentrator. The concentrator rule says very specifically that it's a student that takes 2 years of a program. And a lot of us in the satellites, where we can't do things in 1 year or 2 years, have 3-year programs to make sure all those standards are addressed. So now what you're saying to us is we need to adjust our curriculum because our students will be now basically pigeonholed into testing in year 2, or my numerator and denominator gets hurt. As a director, talking with Kevin, Kevin's been amazing with this, just so that we're clear, is I can test them wherever we need to test them as a director, but my teachers need to be able to address the standards in that test, and we need to go through the same curriculum process that we would go through if we were changing standards to make sure if this is the model, that's what we're doing. We need to do this for our teachers, we need to do this for our students, we need to do this for our industry partners. So you're talking about all 3 things, that's what we need to do, and we need to set up for success, not for, okay, this is because of the plan.
So those are absolutely fantastic thoughts. I really wish I could write right now, because those of you who know I tend to stand up here and take notes when we get to the conversational part of this. But those are fantastic points, right? And to answer the actual question that was in that, we have not rewritten anything yet. We are taking a deliberate approach to this. We want to understand what's been done before, what's required federally, what may have just been an issue in communicating what these SDLPs are and what they mean to board members. We want to understand this before we actively go in to change anything. So we have not changed anything to this point, and we are, again, going to take a very deliberate approach when we get to that point. All right? And did you have a comment back there? Yeah, yeah. So that kind of falls into the same answer I gave just a minute ago. I'm definitely aware of that. I actually had several people calling me about that, asking me what I thought about it. because that was kind of a big deal, right? If they go through with that, that's kind of a big deal. And so, but the same general answer, yes, we're considering it, yes, we're looking at it, but we have not made any active changes to anything yet. We are trying to do our research, trying to do our homework to make sure that the way we go forward and get approval from the Board of Education does also reflect legitimate research and a legitimate theory of action on this. Yeah. Mm-hmm. So going back to the guiding principle, we are going to honor the work that has been done to date. We're not going to ask anybody to go back and redo that work, right? We are going to understand the input you've already given and make sure that is, because if that's reflected in our current version of the plan, then we want to maintain that as well as we can. But again, it does us no good to stick to any of these issues if we know it's going to result in a negative vote from the state board, right? So we are still actually very early in this process, and we're still trying to figure out, we're making the plans on exactly how we're going to collect input and things like that. We're still working right now to have those one-on-one meetings with members of the board. So, we do not have anything set in concrete. We do intend to take the inputs and work that you've already done as current, consider that to be done, and then look for any revisions or other considerations that need to be in that mix. And then the last one, and I just have a couple of minutes, the big issue that a lot of people get very emotional about, the funding split. A proposed 75-25 split rather than the 82-18 we currently have. You had a thought off immediate? Right. So that, for those of you, if you couldn't hear that, she was asking, she was making the point that the relationship is not necessarily adversarial at a district level, right, is what you were saying, and that there are, do these board members understand that there are so many teachers at that local level who are offering dual enrollment or concurrent enrollment programs, and that is something we are working to create an overview for, right? There, at least one board member was telling me that he wanted to see a new model in which the community colleges delivered more of those programs than the secondary level institutions. Don't shoot the messenger, right? But that's what I was told, and I was told that was going to be the issue that determined his vote, right? So that is, you have a follow-up there? the answer to her first question was, are some members of the board also working in post-secondary education? And then if so, is that not a conflict of interest that someone would be voting on increased funding for his own institution? The answer to your first question is yes, some work in post-secondary education. On the question of whether it's a conflict of interest, I am not qualified to answer that one, so I'm going to take the weenie way out and say I can't give you an answer on that one. But, you know, we are aware of that fact, and we are going to stay cognizant of it. We're going to explore every avenue that we have for getting to a yes vote. There is still the looming end of the year. Why does that matter in this conversation? Because depending on the way the elections go, we may see significant changes in the membership of the State Board of Education. The Governor Hobbs may want to put her own stamp more definitively on the Board of Education, or maybe not. We don't know yet, right? And a lot of it may depend on the outcomes of the election. We will see. But definitely there will be at least a few changes to the makeup of the board by the time we put this plan in front of them in April of 2025. So I know there was a lot of meat in that for a last session of the day. So I hope I did not put a bunch of people to sleep with that one. But you'll hear from us. We are working on this feverishly. We want to make sure that we do our due diligence, we do our research, we collect the appropriate inputs, and as I mentioned earlier, we eventually get to a yes and get our plan approved and the road paved for the upcoming years, right? So with that, I will say thank you. Always a pleasure to be with you. We are at your disposal. I am local here. If you don't know that, I'm in the West Valley, so if there's ever anything that I can do for you personally, just feel free to reach out. Always enjoy those kind of opportunities. So thank you very much. Have a fantastic rest of the day, and I'll give it back to Kevin.
Okay, I need a joke. Today I gave my dead batteries away. They were free of charge. I want to thank those that came and attended personally, in person. I also want to thank those that were joining us online. If your heart's desire and you want to relive this, I was told that you can go to the EVIT Facebook, YouTube channel, and you can watch the whole meeting back over again. Maybe you've noticed a couple of thoughts today. Work-based learning. Hopefully the other thought was that we're providing a service for you. And also, I want to encourage you on your way out to put any thoughts that you have, parting thoughts, onto the parking lots. Take out those sticky tabs and do those. And with that, it is 2 minutes to 11 o'clock. Thank you again, everybody. Have a good job. Pass forward those jokes. Pass them forward. Thank you.
For those of you that are staying for mini M&M, we're going to be on that side of the building. As soon as you start seeing the food laid out, you're welcome to go grab food and find a place over in that portion. Thank you.